In this video, we are going to learn about how to use Salesforce's new feature. It's called the Code Builder. It is still in beta version, but it's really worth to discuss about this particular feature because it carries a lot of advantages, especially for those projects that follow source-driven development. Just think about it. So I want to create a new Lightning Web component in my project. So uh, I cannot use developer console and then try to create a new Lightning Web component that is not supported. So I need to rely on tools like VS Code, Salesforce Code extension, VS Code extension, right? Salesforce extension pack. I need to install Salesforce CLA on my machine, and then I should get connected to the org and then create the Lightning Web component and then do the development and then deploy it. So that's typically what we do, isn't it? So so again, if I want to use a different machine for the development, I should do the same. I should ensure that all the tools like again VS Code, Salesforce Extension Pack, Salesforce CLI, Node, Java latest version, I need to ensure if all these softwares are installed on the machine, isn't it? So this particular feature, it's going to make you uh, free from uh, free from having dependency on these tools. So all you need is just a web browser and a stable internet connection. That's all you need. You can able to build your software, build your components, be it Lightning Web component, Apex triggers, Apex classes, objects, etc. You can do it, right using a web browser. That's all you can. That's a great advantage, isn't it? So instead of just being dependent on all these tools. So let's see how this works, right? As we go further in this video. So you will learn how to set up this environment. You will learn how to create a new SFDX project. You will learn how to connect to an org against which you want to do the development. And finally, learn about how to integrate your source, with GitHub. So to start with, what we need is we need a trial playground or a development or a sandbox org. So right now, Code Builder is an App Exchange product from Salesforce. So we have to install this App Exchange product and then GitHub account. It's optional. Okay, we'll just talk about the importance as well towards the end of this video. So this is my trial at playground org, and so all I have to do is I have to start with step one. Start with installing this Code Builder App Exchange product. So I can just go to App Exchange and then search for Code Builder. You will see, yeah, you will see an application, from Salesforce, which you can just simply click on Get It Now and then, get this installed on your machine, on your org. So this will, when you click on Get It Now, it will just take you to a login screen. Just punch in the username and password of your development org or sandbox or your playground org. That's it. So once that is done, you will see the package, the code builder package installed or app installed on your org. So you can also cross check by just going to the app launcher and then look for code builder. So when you click on code builder, this is the page where you get landed on. So this is the starting point. So step one, you just get this code builder app exchange product installed. Number two, just click on get started and you get two options. So either you can create a new project or you can just import an existing project from Salesforce. So this option is particularly helpful if you already have your code base stored in GitHub or the source control. So you can just click on import from GitHub. It will ask you the repository link. You can just configure it. I'll do a separate video where I'll just explain how to import the project from GitHub. But for now, to make it very simple, let's go with this new project. So I need to punch in the name of the project. I'm going to give the project name as Partner Management App, and I'm going to give project type as standard. I'll just go with the default. When I click on next, let's see what happens. So this is step two. So I'm going to create a project, and certainly I will create components, be it classes, objects, or triggers, or Lightning Web component, right? So once the component is created, I want to deploy that component to an org, right? Just to see how it is working, isn't it? So this needs to be configured, and this is the step that helps you to configure that. So against which org you wanted to do the development against, right? So you can just connect to a sandbox or you can connect to a development org. So in my case, I'm going to connect this to a development org. When I click on connect to a development org, it will just take me again to a login screen where I can have to, punch in the username and password of the org, and then, I just move forward. Let's click on connect a development org. Let it log in. Perfect. As you can see, it's trying, it's asking API access because all these communications right behind the scenes happen via API. So I'll just allow API access. So I'm in step 2, connecting to the org against which I want to do the development. Right. Looks like it is connected. Perfect. So I'll just click on next. And I want to just give a friendly name or alias name, to the environment that I just created. I'll just again say it's PRM or create. So let's wait for the environment to spin off. So behind the scenes again, right, the Salesforce is trying to create a new environment for you. Think about a virtual machine that is completely made available for you with all the software pre-built. So typically when I want to develop a new Salesforce project, right, I need Java, I need latest Java, I need Node.js, I need Salesforce CLI, I need VS Code, I need VS Code Salesforce extension pack, inside VS Code, right? So imagine that everything is already pre-built for you and made it available. So that is what is happening now. Salesforce is trying to create an environment for you with all the software preloaded, which means you can just start with your development right the moment when the environment is ready. So while the environment is getting ready, there are a few things we wanted to talk about this beta version. So Code Builder is in beta version, and right now you have this environment available with you for maximum 20 hours. As in, when you open the environment, the clock starts ticking. So if you continue working on this environment for 20 hours, that's it. The environment gets auto purged, or the environment gets purged after 30 days from the date of creation. So today I did create this one, and it gets expired in the next 30 days. So whichever is earlier, Salesforce will auto purge this environment. So just remember that. Okay, and there is an implication to this. So this is where we will talk about GitHub towards the end. So now the environment is ready. Let's launch this environment and then see what happens. So when I click on launch, again, it takes few minutes when it is loading for the very first time. So let's wait for that to happen. So it's trying to launch the environment. As you can see this, right, Code Builder is starting up. There you go. It's almost done. Looks like it's completed, I believe. Yeah. So now, as you can see, this is a new environment that Salesforce created for me. And as you can see, there is this, Salesforce project. So you can see all the empty folders. Under this force app, you can just see Lightning Web Component, objects, etc. The entire project is there because it's a new project, right? Everything is clean, but most importantly, I did not install any software, isn't it? So this environment contains SFDX project, the VS Code, and then this environment contains the extension, which is Salesforce extension pack. Let's quickly see that as well. Give you the installed ones. You can just see Apex. You can just see Salesforce extension pack. So this is already installed, right? And also you will have the Salesforce CLI installed. I'll go to the terminal and let's try to find the version that is installed. So SFDX version. So this will give me the the latest version that is installed on this environment. So I do have all the required softwares, right, for me to start working on the development. So very quickly, let's go back to this Explorer, and then let me try to create, a new Apex class. So how do I do it? Very simple. On the left, you have this menu. I'll go to File, View, and then Command Palette. So using which I can able to create Apex class, Lightning Web Component. I can create triggers, etc. etc. I can do it. So all I have to do is just punch in SFTX. This will list all the commands that I can potentially use. So in my case, I want to create a new Apex class. Let's try to create a new Apex class. Create Apex class. I'll give a name. I'll just say hello world, or I'll just say um, account controller. And yes, I want this particular file to get created inside classes. As you can see, right, account controller is there. So now, let's say I make a, let's say, I close this environment. Okay, I just created a new class. I just close this environment. Yeah. So now two things happen. One is that environment, right, it's still intact, meaning the new file that you have created just now, right, it's still, it just still retains that environment as long as the environment, right, it's active. The file, the code, whatever that you do inside the environment, everything, remains intact. Yeah. So to demonstrate that again, if you just launch it back, you should see the account controller file that we just created. So let's wait for the environment again to get warm up and get started. So I think it's almost done. So now you can see this, right? So this is how again, right? I can just close the browser and then, shut down the machine, come back later and then, start from where I left off. So I can do the same in another machine. I can just go use another machine, just log into my Twilight Playground and then go to Code Builder dashboard and then click on launch. So I can use a different machine and then start from where I left off. So this is what we call you know uh, software independent, right? So we are no longer dependent on the tools. So we can just do the coding from anywhere. So that's the great advantage of this code builder, right? So this is one important thing. Number two, now I can use SFTX to deploy this code. So I just created this account control. I know this is empty. What I can do is I can just simply go here again, go to view command palette. I can just simply say deploy. So now when I click on deploy this to an org, remember in the second step we connected this SFTX project to an org, right? So this code will directly get deployed into the org. When you just click on this deploy org, so it will just simply run and you will just see a success message. Yeah. So now this has been deployed. So I can just go back to that org against which I'm doing the development. In my case, I'm doing development against the same org. And if I go to setup, go to Apex classes, and I can see account controller, which I just created, right? So this is how again, right? You can use code builder to create components and then deploy to an org. So there are a few things before we wrap up this video. So right now, code builder is in beta, which means there are still a lot of things need to be enhanced, right? So number one is, of course, it is in beta and it is available only for 20 hours or 30 days, right? After which it is completely auto purged. So when it happens, you will lose all the code. So when this environment gets purged, right, you will lose the code. We created this account controller, isn't it? So this gets purged. So unless you deploy your code to an org, okay, so your code will get purged and it will just it can't be retrieved. Okay, and this is where GitHub comes into the play. So imagine, right, we know the limitation. So what I can do is I can just simply use this GitHub, and then if I have a GitHub account, I can just simply initialize a repository and then manage my code back in the GitHub, so that even the environment is lost, right? I can still use the code or get the code directly from the GitHub and then start from where I left off. So this is the greatest advantage, right? Even though there is a limitation using GitHub, we can still able to keep our code right intact. So I'll do a separate video where I'll explain how to use GitHub and manage your code base. But for this starter video, yeah, I think now you know how to use code builder, how to install, and then how to spin up a new environment and then start using it for your own development. Yeah, thank you.